She looks so pretty. Her body is perfect. She looks so happy. I wish I looked like that. Why don't I look like that? Your body's too hairy. You have so much acne. Why are you never good enough? These are just some of the many things I've thought about myself. For my whole life, my self-worth and perception have been based upon social media, validation, and approval. How many likes, comments, and followers I could get, how many friends I had, and how popular I was. In middle school, all I ever cared about was my appearance and how to maintain it. I would spend hours upon hours watching people on social media and constantly comparing myself to them. I'd somehow convinced myself that it was my outer appearance that mattered. I convinced myself that it was my personality that should come second to my looks. And because of this, I never really had an ego or pride or self-confidence in general. People could just say things to me and I would believe them, and it didn't matter if they were true or not. And the only times I would ever truly be happy with myself would be during feelings of accomplishment. I got a perfect score on a test I studied really hard for. I just finished a performance on stage. Even as simple as making someone laugh. I would be okay celebrating it because I felt that I deserved it. But why couldn't I love myself all the time, no matter the circumstances? The answer is simple, but it took me a long time to realize it. And that because of my need and dependency for validation, there was no way I could ever truly love myself. But why not? I was sick of the thoughts that would always go through my head every time I went on social media. I was sick of always doubting myself, and most importantly, I was sick of not loving myself when I had every reason to. To have self-love means to have a high regard for your own well-being and happiness, prioritizing your own needs and not sacrificing yourself to please others. Just having love for your own self. And this isn't to be confused with vanity, selfishness, conceit, or egotism. And it's extremely hard in today's society to have self-love because of the rise of social media influencers, advertising, and marketing. But there are many differing internal and external factors to self-love. And with all things considered, what is the key to self-love and how can it be achieved? These statistics can show the negative impact that social media can have on self-esteem and self-love, but yet as a society, why do we still let it dominate how we perceive the world? Social media is a tool that people can use to project themselves onto a platform, and this means that people will only post themselves in a positive light. And everyone always wants to look their best, right? So we'll do so by using filters, editing, and Photoshop. And it's so easy to deceive others using social media because you're only posting the certain aspects of your life. And this can cause people to really believe that others always look runway ready, live in these big houses and drive nice cars, when in reality, it's all fake. People are only posting what they want you to see. It's taken me years to understand and realize that social media shouldn't be a viable way to determine my self-worth. Someone's profile and feed are very different to how they present themselves in real life. And this is because social media puts pressure on us to post as a way of approval or gratification, which can be very detrimental to mental health. I would always feel self-conscious and sad when I would see people's most recent trip to Bali or their 200-calorie dinner or even their workout plan, and it was toxic and harmful for me. Not everyone lives like that, and social media needs to stop feeding the image that people do. So I'm going to share with you some tips and advice that have helped me in my journey to self-love. Asking the question again, is self-love achievable? Yes. It was a long journey for me to realize it, but that was because I felt like I was having an inner battle with myself the entire time. After I was in this depressive rut, I had an epiphany. And as cliche as it sounds, the answer was in myself the whole time. I realized that I'm my own person and that I shouldn't be seeking validation in others, but instead myself. So now I'm going to share with you some tips and advice that helped me in learning to love myself. And I understand that everyone is different, and what may work for some people may not work for others, and that's completely okay. There's many different methods and ways for everyone out there, but these are just some that I've had personal experience with that have truly helped me. Practicing self-compassion and mindfulness. To do this, you need to get rid of those negative thoughts and emotions, acknowledging when you're wrong and not hating yourself for it, as well as practicing non-judgmental tendencies. This step took me one of the longest and is still something that I struggle with to this day. And the thing that you have to do is every time you hear that little inkling of that voice in your head, you just need to shut it out and ignore it. And the main factor in doing this is time. It'll take time to implement a more positive mindset, and it'll take time because loving yourself is a process that doesn't happen overnight. And once you get through that first bump, the rest will come easier. Getting rid of perfectionism. Society has always conditioned us that we always feel like we need to look perfect, have excellent grades, and always be happy. But we need to learn to dissociate ourselves from that perfectionism. We need to acknowledge and address these issues and where they come from and why we're having them. We need to alter our mindsets to not let us feel bad if something goes wrong or if we're not perfect, because not being perfect doesn't equal bad. You're not going to be the different person than you are if you're not perfect. And being happy with being imperfect will give you the freedom and peace of mind to do what's achievable and what is right for you. And as cliche as it sounds, not everyone is perfect, so we need to stop acting like we're trying to be. This step can take on many forms, such as putting healthier foods into your body, taking the time needed for your mental health, and being productive instead of procrastinating, and ending bad relationships with people that may not be serving you anymore. And this can be difficult because you need to realize that you have to put yourself first. And if you're not taking care of your body properly, your mind will start to feel like it's not being cared for as well, and vice versa. And this can add on to an abundance of unneeded stress, which isn't really necessary for the day-to-day. And on the other hand, there are many health benefits to exercising and eating healthier. When it comes to exercising, you're healing your body, and it can fight illnesses and in return, help the mind by giving it the energy and serotonin it needs to combat mental illnesses if you have them. And eating healthy can lower your risks of disease and improve your immune system. And I know this seems like a lot, but if you carry on with this, your well-being will thank you. And lastly, this may be one of the hardest obstacles to overcome, especially with how present social media is in society and our lives. But you just have to remember that your body is unique and beautiful. It takes you places, it heals you, and it protects you. You need to get rid of those negative thoughts and put your mind first. Happiness cannot be found in the body, but in the mind, and that's just something that we need to remind ourselves of. And this is something that will take some time because it's a process. When you think of yourself, you need to only have thoughts of love and appreciation. And you need to counteract that voice in your head that's telling you you're wrong. For example, if you think, oh, I'm going to fail my test today, try thinking, no, I'm an intelligent person and I will pass my test today. I understand that these may not work for everyone, but I'm speaking from my personal experience, and I would not give advice unless I have had the experience and know that these are to be true. And I also understand that speaking about it is so much easier than doing. But self-love is a process, and I understand that it's not as simple as just going down a list of steps. It may be easier or harder for other people, because everyone's different with different mindsets, and you shouldn't feel that it's important to love yourself in a certain way because someone else is doing that, and you should do what feels right for you. And I know that learning to love yourself can seem like an impossible feat, but once you get through that barrier, there's an amazing horizon beyond that. To have the confidence to always speak your mind, express your creativity is endless. Being able to know, understand, and distinguish your place in the world. Achieving self-love may seem like it's impossible, but it's not. Overcoming these obstacles with your newly gained knowledge and strength, once you reach that summit, anything is possible. If we all lived in a world where we did not get down on ourselves for our flaws, we would act very differently as a society. We would be able to get more things done because our minds would be focused on the bigger picture rather than our own insecurities. There wouldn't be this immense pressure on ourselves all the time to feel like we always need to be perfect. And the love that we have for ourselves could come back to us. You could think of it like karma. The love that we have for ourselves can in return inspire others to love themselves and then will eventually make its way back to us. If we all lived in a humane world with happiness and good things, the way to that is that we need to cultivate love for ourselves and each other first. This in turn can elevate the consciousness of yourself and everyone around you, which will open up a realm of new possibilities to a greater world. Thank you.